taken prisoner. This is for a lookout. I don't know why this guy is smiling, because nothing about this was never a smiling situation. I figure he was a green second lieutenant. This was a NCO, and this probably was a company commander. And they just happened to be on this same sheet with these.
Yeah.
Here's his horse, right there, with that gun, and he was hunting Chinese. This was the artillery observer, and this was the 81 mortar forward observer.
We flipped two of them.
Two of them. Maybe I don't need. I'll just tell you what's on the other.
Yeah, that's.
I can't get a hold of it. The other one had an automatic rifle and two guys in a trench trying to shoot the heck out of somebody. The second position I had was back on Baldy, and you can see the snow. And this is the hill the Chinese were on. We, as a platoon or a reinforced company, and came up like this on the top of Baldy in trenches in here. And we're having a raid and sent people around like that. And we had quite a few casualties in that one. But we came up at night, and when I didn't go to sleep, but when it got daylight, there was a Bangalore torpedo pointing in me at that trench, which if they'd ever pulled the trigger, I wouldn't be talking with you today. So much for that on Baldy for the time being. I'll go back to it one other time. I'll just skip a lot of this and go right on back to it. The second time we came, I did forget something. We thought we could come up this way down in the snow because there'd been a lot of enemy tank fire. And we figured that we, being the people that should be doing that type of work, a tank was shooting. And we figured they wouldn't see us, but that didn't happen. We got up to right about there. I was behind the company commander, and I was with their infantry platoon, rifle platoon, sergeant, the master sergeant, and it said bang, wee 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 wee, and it just lit right back over there, and you never saw a happier person in your life because it was a dud. We went a little further, and they started shooting, but we were already gone, and they started shooting at our listening post who was not there at the time. And we went on up in here. Now, the thing that's wrong with this, since it didn't have any other kind of picture, this was in May. So this should be dirty. And we also, in this case, we're having a good portion of the platoon to attack this, Hill 223. And then one thing about forward observers is if they can't see, they're not much good to you. If they fired in and you know where the position is, or the hole is, if you're shooting at, all you have to do is call that number and you don't have to see it. And also snipers like to find forward observers because there's very few of them. So I was along in here somewhere, and I had brought my 81 fire over behind this hill, and about that time I have a radio operator wireman with me. The radio got shrapnel. I didn't get hardly any at all, and I'm getting to it. I had a little in my hands, and the aid man took care of it, and that was about the size of it. But they also cut my wire, so I wasn't any good. But my wireman with, and I'll call them 60s, from the Chinese 60mm mortar, was just mortaring the heck out of that, and that fella went down and put the wire together, and we had communication again. I recommended him for the Bronze Star. I don't know if he ever got it, but he sure earned it as far as I'm concerned. I believe that brings it to an end. We've already talked about this and about Erie, so I'm going to go on with it. The only thing this really shows is the 45th Division moved over a little bit. Incidentally, though, it's 14 miles between here and here. Think about that. One division. And the final thing is, if you went to Mass and then to combat, you may not come to Mass again, or you went to combat and came back and you had Mass again. And you can see what that looks like. So in finality, I'll say a couple hundred more words. Anyway, I was offered a second lieutenant's position if I'd sign over when it was rotation time, if I'd sign another year, and I said, no, I declined. I got home, went back to college, got a good job, got married, and went back in the Army Guard. Got to be, they chose me as a second lieutenant of 120 riflemen. A year I was a lieutenant, 4 years I was a captain, later years I was a major, and then finally we had brigades. I was the brigade operations officer of that brigade for not a very long time because I came down here. That ended whatever I had any active part at all, but I did have some things that I could do keep me a little close to the Army. Having said that, my military education qualified me for Brigadier General. My awards were the CB, CIB, Meritorious Service, and several others. That concludes this dissertation. Thank you.